Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz here halfway through our program. We've got Jason Caldwell coming up in the next segment from inside the Auburn Tigers and Auburn Undercover. We appreciate Jason each and every week. Program brought to you by Russell Dewitt Center and Building Supply Stores, J. Smith Construction and Excavation in Central Alabama. Community College, just talking about the draft, Randy. We're just going down the first round. SEC players, just said through the pick 18, Amaris Mims, the offensive tackle from Georgia. Scrolling on down, LSU had another player taken, Brian Thomas Jr., the 23rd overall pick, wide out there. Then behind him, Terrion Arnold went to Detroit from the University of Alabama, cornerback. Terrion Arnold, one of the better defenders there for Alabama last year. Missouri, Darius Robinson, the edge rusher, was picked 27th by the Cardinals. If this were this year, Texas and Oklahoma had back-to-back picks at 28 and 29, but that's not. And then Florida had a player, Ricky Purcell, wide receiver, at 31, and South Carolina, Xavier Leggett, the wide receiver, at 32. But like you said, I want to talk about this a little bit more. So the SEC, obviously very much represented there in the first round. You've also got 3 players from the University of Alabama, which is
3 from Georgia, too.
3 from Georgia, a couple from LSU. We said this yesterday. There's a natural translation between guys that end up going first and second round and then the success of that program that they're coming from. Now, again, Florida, not very good. They had a guy go there late in the first round. But when you see teams like LSU and Alabama and Ohio State and Michigan, it translates. What kind of season they have last year? Well, you obviously see why they had multiple guys selected. I want to go back to something that we had sent over to us today. It's a very good stat. Star rankings of NFL picks. They're in the first round. 5 stars. There were 7 of them. Of the first, there's 32 in the first round. 7 of them were 5 stars, 15 were 4 stars. So there you go. You're already at 22 of the 32 picks were a 4-star or 5-star, and then the 9 of them were 3 stars. Only 1 was unranked. There is a translation. I mean, between those highly ranked college players ending up most of the time panning out going to the NFL.
Well, it's very difficult in today's world, as many eyeballs and as many camps and as many opportunities as you have to see great athletes. And look, we just had, and I'd like to ask Jason Caldwell this in the upcoming segment, we just had Cedarian Morgan, who's a sophomore at Benjamin Russell. He's 6'4", 210. He's the best-looking athlete just off the hoof from a skill set standpoint that I've ever seen come through Alex City. Like, Malcolm's amazing. I mean, like 6'4", 210 freshman, sophomore in high school.
Right.
These kids don't come around anywhere that often. Well, he goes to his first camp. He was not even on the map. I mean, people knew who he was, but he wasn't on the map in the recruiting circle.
No.
He goes up to Tennessee for the first camp, finishes the top overall prospect at the camp and over 400, and he comes back and he's a top 20 prospect in the country in his class now. I'm not surprised. My point being, it's very hard to not get seen. All it takes is a camp or 2 now, or an eyeball or 2. And the Terrell Owens of the world that don't get a scholarship offer until very, very late in the process just doesn't happen that often anymore. You just too many opportunities to see them.
Let's talk about how this relates to Auburn. And again, this isn't a shot at Auburn. This is just reality. If you want to know why Auburn the last 4 years, and you look at their record in football, has struggled. Well, look what Auburn's put in the draft. It's a direct correlation to the kind of players you have in recruiting. And let's just be honest, the tail end of Gus Malzahn and the 2 years Brian Harsin were here, recruiting was non-existent at Auburn. And it's hard to compete in this league when you got really, really strong talent. But when you are that far behind, man, you can forget it. So the results are there in the record, and then you flip over and you look at what Auburn's put in the league. There is a direct translation there. Let's go to the phone lines for the first time. Welcome in our caller here on the Auburn Blitz. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, I've got just a couple questions here. First, about the baseball team. You know, well, let me say this. I've been an Auburn fan been coming to Auburn for over 45 years. And, you know, we got different things, statues of different players and everything. And I've noticed over the last year or so, it bothers me that you don't really see anything about Casey Mize. He was from Auburn, a pitcher, first-round draft pick. As far as I know, probably the only one that's ever went the first round from Auburn. And, you know, I just think at the university, you know, something needs to be done to, you know, put something out there about Casey, because all the recruits come, different people, they see the statues and different things about the players that's been at Auburn, you know, the history of Auburn. The second question I got is, I was at a couple of games this year, and I noticed our stadium compared to other SEC stadiums is absolutely in its pitiful shape as far as it needs to be painted. The logo's outside the stadium. The colors is faded. The television's inside the stadium, out in the snack areas and things like that. I don't know if they've been updated in 25 years, and I just want to see what y'all thought about that, or who actually handles that, or you know, if anything in the future to do an upgrade, because Auburn's such a beautiful university from the time I was there, and I've got a son that's a senior there now, and it's just very disappointing. You know, I went to an Alabama game this year with a friend of mine, and you go in there, and it's just absolutely a total night and day difference in the facilities, the way they look as a stadium. And that's got to hurt us in recruiting. You know, when they go to other SEC schools or schools that then come there and they see that the logos are faded, it's not being taken care of, and things like that.
Robert, let me answer a couple of these real quick, and I know we got to get to break. I'll answer them on the other side. You got some really good points. I'll say this real quick. Casey Mize just left the Auburn program a few years ago. He was the #1 overall pick. You're right. I think it's a little premature for a statue. There's other players that probably deserve statues. There's only one baseball statue, and it's Frank Thomas. He's the only SEC player in the Hall of Fame. So there's warrant there. I think Casey Mize down the line will probably have his jersey retired. He's barely been in MLB for a few years, so I think that'll be a timing thing. And when we come back from break, I'll address your question about the facilities. I do agree with you on some of that. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Hey, thank you, Robert. Appreciate the call.
By the way, I'm a fan of the show. My cable provider, I just switched and actually got to pick the show up and been watching about a month now. So I really enjoy the show.
Well, Robert, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you, sir. Have a good weekend.
And Robert is in Baseball Central, my friend.
Yes, he is.
Coleman, Alabama.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Hartselle, that area up there.
They know how to play it.
produce them up there.
All right, let's get to break. We come back. We'll have Jason Caldwell with us when we come back. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
"76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community."
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Zaxby's has been perfecting chicken fingers for 30 years, and now we're going to the sea. Shrimp butterflied and fried to perfection, and a perfect blend of Zax sauce and cocktail sauce called Zax Tail Sauce. The perfect southern fried shrimp meal. Woo, saucy! Zaxby's. Zaxby's has been perfecting chicken fingers for 30 years, and now we're going to the sea. Shrimp butterflied and fried to perfection, and a perfect blend of Zax sauce and cocktail sauce called Zax Tail Sauce. The perfect southern fried shrimp meal. Woo, saucy! Zaxby's.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Bugs Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bugs Island has all kinds of boats, with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bugs Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bugsisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote.
Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is coming soon to the corner of 280 and 49 North in Dadeville. This new 10,000 square foot facility is conveniently located to serve the residents of the Lake Martin area and its many communities. A branch of Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory in Opelika, Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation looks forward to serving your families and your communities, as we have since 1900 at Frederick Dean. 256-750-0381.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz, brought to you by Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation in Central Alabama Community College. Trying to get Jason connected with us here. Hopefully we'll get him on shortly and be able to talk to him about some of these recruits. The new list for 24/7 coming out, we talked about a couple of days ago. Some of the top players in the state of Alabama, kind of where Auburn lands or sits with those. But I want to go back and address the last caller. Appreciate you tuning us in with Charter Spectrum, and a lot of you out there watch each and every day on Charter Spectrum. Talking about the baseball program, you know, this is where we were supposed to talk about it anyway, so it's a good segue. Auburn's 20-20, 2-16. In the league, and nobody envisioned this team being 2-16 in league play with 4 series left. Postseason, obviously not an option really for Auburn at this point, unless some kind of miracle happens. I don't think they're going to be making the tournament, but you know, next year the tournament changes. Everybody will make the tournament, so this is the last year of everybody not making it. It's a single elimination tournament starting next year. So everybody makes a tournament, and it's one game all the way through, and you lose, you're out. So probably good all the way around, because you get caught in these tournaments and you get in the loser's bracket and you try to fight out. And, you know, if you're a team that's having a really good year, and you either want to win the tournament or get out so you can get ready to go play in a regional. I hate to say it, but it's almost similar to basketball in the SEC tournament. You either want to win the daggum thing or get out, and so get ready to go play in the NCAA tournament. But I don't know. Butch Thompson, I don't have any problem with Butch Thompson at all. I think he's a great person. I think he's a great coach. He's been able to do what no other coach has been able to do in a long time, and that's get Auburn to 2 World Series in the last 4 or 5 years. But this year, man, when it bottomed, and we just have not been able to have the pitching we need to compete in this league. And we've had opportunities in key games. I go back to that Arkansas series early in the year. You lose that series, you lose 2 one-run games, and you win a 2-run game. in both of those games. You lost the first one on a solo home run in the first inning. You can't figure out a way to scratch out 2 runs. Your pitching didn't let you down that night, and then you lose a 5-4 game where you had bases loaded with 1 out in second and third with no outs and weren't able to come up with a key hit to get the win. So, I mean, it's been like that for this team all year. It's frustrating. I know nobody is more disappointed than Butch Thompson is, but, Randy, I don't know what you got to do. You guys got to fight till the end of this season, but you got to go reevaluate this thing going into next year.
Well, his questions about facilities, and I'd like to get your take on that.
I was going to go back to that.
You know, you've been around the facilities a lot, and you've got good reason to be around the facilities and maybe know more than most when it comes to that. There's a lot of plans in place.
Well, baseball's not a bad facility now. There's 3-phase project. 2 of them are about done, but when that project's finished with Plainsman Park, it's going to be right back to the top.
Facilities overall from a look all the way around right now.
Well, he's talking about the football stadium.
Yeah, I know it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, the football stadium, let me finish on baseball and get to football. Butch Thompson and his staff's got to figure something out in the offseason because it's only about to get harder. Oklahoma and Texas are coming in. I mean, we talk about the excuses all the time about Auburn and Alabama's not having a good year again. And they're probably not going to have one because they're going to be mediocre. We're going to be mediocre most of the time, and we'll catch lightning in a bottle and make a run. But a good, strong year for us is winning 15 to 17 games in conference play. That's about the best I think either one of our programs can expect. So I know there's inherent disadvantages for our programs because of the situation here in the state of Alabama with the funding and all that. But, man, you can't just lean on that and say, well, we just can't get it done because – you're going to have to figure something out. So the university and the athletic department is going to have to figure out how to structure something to be able to compete with these other teams, Randy, to get the best players in here if it matters to you. And I think it matters because Auburn wouldn't be pouring all that money into that facility at Plainsman Park and redoing basically the entire complex if it didn't matter to them.
Well, go back to, though, you know, how many updates are going into Plainsman Park? Give that.
All right, so they did the Hall of Fame Club, which is Frank Thomas behind home plate. You can buy those seats this year, and they're all sold out now, but you could buy those seats individually for games, but next year they're going to be part of sponsorship packages, man, and that is plush seating. I mean, you talk about an experience. The food and the beverages and the things that you have, and you're right behind home plate, and the amenities at your disposal. I mean, that's a great deal because baseball is such a long season. You can see if you have a business or whatever, you can give those tickets and have somebody sitting in prime seating. The outfield behind the Green Monster is going to be the next phase. The other phase is underway right now down the right field line where they're going to build the terrace, and not the terrace, but the pavilion where it's going to be an open air place for standing. There's going to be some suites out there that you can purchase, and then the top of the Green Monster is going to have additional seating. So there's going to be a whole different deal there. They built the spot out in right center field for the students. That place is usually jam-packed. It's a whole different feel, and Plainsman Park will be up to speed. They're adding seats, so they're bringing it up to speed. But Jordan-Hare, they just announced, and we had Jason on that day when the Board of Trustees approved the major renovations coming to Jordan-Hare Stadium, so they're on the way. But from the aesthetic standpoint, what Robert was talking about, Randy, your logo shouldn't ever be faded. There shouldn't be things on the outside of the facility that look unfinished. I mean, you're an SEC school.
Yep.
You're one of the top SEC schools. It should look tip-top all the time.
My son and I took him over to a track meet at Tennessee in Knoxville this past year, and that was my takeaway from Neyland Stadium there, too. Everything on the perimeter of that stadium. I know it's a beautiful facility.
But it was old, looked worn down.
Old, you know, murals that are hanging down, signage, everything felt and looked old.
And see, I just...
And those things, they do cost money, but they don't cost money up to the level of where, I mean, it's just closing a blind eye to things that probably can, for a reasonable amount of money, be fixed. Trust me, I run a business that does a lot of that stuff. It's costly, but it's nowhere near the level of building suites and things like that.
You only get one chance to make a first impression.
Well, that was the impression I got, and I was impressed.
I mean, just think about that, though. I mean, sometimes that's all people see. And then they go away and they go, well, man, that place looks like it's run down. Yeah. I mean, so, all right, we'll get to our last break. Stay tuned, one final segment right after this.
When drinking, take a sober ride home, not someone's life. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
J.A. Smith Construction is your trusted choice for construction site clearing and grading for new home construction, underground utilities and site work, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 256-896-1400 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
Chick-fil-A is always the best option when you're on the go, but they are also great when it comes to planning your next event, from tailgating to birthday parties to weddings. Call Chick-fil-A Alexander City at 256-289-7955 for catering or order on the Chick-fil-A app. Make sure to choose the Alexander City location and have your catering order ready to go. Nugget trays, mac and cheese trays, fruit trays, cookie trays, gallons of our famous lemonade tea, and chilled grilled chicken sub sandwiches, and a lot more options. Make it Chick-fil-A Alexander City for your next event.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Catch a ride, not a buzz.
Hey, can you come get me?
Being buzzed still counts. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz final segment here on this Friday. Do want to thank Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine once again for bringing ribs and the trimmings to all of us here today at the studio. Outstanding. In the month of May, this is, I mean, you can't beat any of this. I'm going to read some of this off. You got Mother's Day coming up. You got graduations coming up. All of these great events for you to be taken care of by Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. They got graduation specials. I won't read them all out, but they involve the ribs, grilled sausage, wings, sliders, which you can get pulled pork or hamburger. They got Mother's Day specials going on May the 9th through the 11th. They got Memorial Day specials around these parts, man. Memorial Day is the official kick of summer. May 23rd through the 25th. It's lake season in full-fledged, so they got all the stuff that you could want to take care of your Memorial Day weekend. And then, of course, I'll read off during the month of May all the specials each week that they have going on. But Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine is about as good as it comes when it comes to catering food and taking care of you out there. And we really appreciate Kathy and Paula for delivering that stuff to us today.
I'm going to get off of here as fast as I possibly can, go
Sprint.
right back over to that plate.
Yeah, I mean, it's sitting right over there for you, man. It's really, really good. Dano said his round 3 began in the men's SEC golf tournament. I do think it has begun at this point. I was going to read off the 2-day total. Auburn is sitting in 4th still, only 5 strokes off the lead, though. Vanderbilt, who's number 2 in the country, Auburn's number 1 in the country, so no surprise there. Vanderbilt's 15 under as a team. Georgia and Florida are tied for second at 11 under, and Auburn is -10. Tennessee is -9. So right there going into day 3, Auburn's got a chance. You know, this team is extremely talented, but once again in the SEC, there's no rest for the weary.
Not when the 1 and 2 teams, and you've got the number 2 team sitting there at number 1. So, but you know, this has been a long run for both Auburn and Alabama when it comes to golf. Really put some great ones out.
Coach Limbaugh is the coach at Vanderbilt. I went to school with him at Central Alabama Community College. Phenomenal person, phenomenal golfer. Went on to play his golf at Alabama, and then now he's the head golf coach there at Vanderbilt and has his team right there in the top spot going into day number 3. So just a really, really great guy. I hadn't seen him in a while, but really, really good person. Was a good golfer for Cat, for sure. So.
Well, had some great teams, national championship teams during that run, and Cat's right back in the thick of things now. I saw where they won another district championship, and they'll be competing for another national championship coming up. And, hey, it's an easy place to sell to. When you got the community here that has embraced that golf program like this one has for 40-plus years, and you've got Willow Point, you've got Farm Links, I'm sure you got Wicker Point involved now as well, so you got outlets and courses that are as nice as anyone has.
All right, the NFL draft will resume today. Auburn will get some players drafted today. DJ James, Nehemiah Pritchett, Jalen Simpson, Marcus Harris, Justin Rogers perhaps late. Those that don't get drafted will get obviously some free agent opportunities. Most of them will sign, then they'll have to try to make the team. But this has got to be something, and we need to all look at it from an objective standpoint, not get our Auburn feelings hurt, okay? We're talking about something that's got to change for Auburn's sake and Auburn's winning to change, and that's getting players into this NFL draft means that you got high-quality talent on your team, and then when you have high-quality talent on your team, the results, those will take care of itself, because I do think we have the coaches and the things in place to be a very, very good football team again. But this is proof. When you're not expecting any players to get drafted until about the 3rd round, and then you have about 4 or 5 max that even have a chance of getting drafted, when the competition you go up against on a week-in, week-out basis in this conference have 10 to 15 guys getting drafted and majority of them go in the first 3 rounds, I mean, it really does. You say this all the time. Auburn should have beat Alabama this year.
It's a miracle.
Auburn should have beaten Alabama in Jordan-Hare this year. We made too many mistakes to finish the game. But we had them beat, even down to the last play, and we still made a mistake.
Last time here, too.
Same thing.
With T.J. Finley at quarterback.
Yeah, with T.J. Finley at quarterback, and we made one play on offense, really. We threw a swing pass out to Kobe Hudson, and he made a guy miss, and he scored a touchdown. And we held on to that lead the entire game until they were able to force overtime. But I'm going back and saying Alabama had 3 guys selected in the first round last night, and we should have beat them. I get that. That happens every blue moon. Imagine if you had 3 guys taken in the first round. Imagine if Auburn had, 10 guys taken in the first 3 rounds, and that was the common deal. You're not worried about having to have a fluke happen to win a game. You're saying, okay, we're a 10 to 12 win team a year. We've got the top of the line talent coming in, and we expect to win no matter who it is that we play. And I think that's what Hugh Freeze is trying to do, because you look at this roster this year, it's young, but we went through the wide receiver room yesterday. That's a whole different look from last year.
Well, we've recruited, but we haven't developed before. I mean, Gus Malzahn was not a terrible recruiter. He was an 8 to 12 recruiter, which tells me that he got a lot more talent than we developed, Brett. When you get an 8 to 12 recruiting class.
Let me tell you one thing else he didn't do.
Yeah.
He would recruit, and I know stars mean things, and I know numbers mean things, but you go back and look at some of the positions he failed massively to recruit. We get a boatload of something that had a bunch of stars,
but even
then
those
you look at the offensive. I know those didn't get developed, but then you go look at your offensive line recruits. You hadn't get
We
any.
didn't even give ourselves a chance there.
Right. So
it is a miracle. It's a miracle what we do in Jordan-Hare.
Toughest, one of the toughest places to play in the country.
Just imagine if we get
elite talent.
Elite talent with the right coaching staff developing. With a rabid fan base we already have.
Hardly ever lose a game in that stadium.
I agree with you.
Hardly ever lose a game in that stadium because we're pulling things off right now with much lesser talent against programs like it. I mean, we had a chance to beat Georgia, too.
Yeah.
Let's not forget about that. So we just decided not to cover the best tight end in the country, coming down the stretch. Again, hopefully all that's in our past. We're moving forward and don't have to worry about that anymore. We're out of time here on this Friday edition. Hope all of you have a great weekend. We'll be back with you next week for more Auburn Blitz. For Randy Lee, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. Well, if you have, see you next week.